Hello, my name is Christian Nubwe. I'm the Off-Trade Manager Nigeria and Market Manager Cameroon for the Moet Hennessy Group. Welcome to my Spirits Magazine interview. I've joined Moet Hennessy 4 years ago from Strategic Consulting. And I joined as a move to just grow myself and to challenge more, because I used to be on the strategic consulting side, and now I wanted to move to the corporate manager side. It was first a desire to seize the opportunities in Africa. I always believed that no matter how long I stay in the developed countries, I would still go back to Africa to try to see how I could seize the opportunity of my home continent. And I had that opportunity when I was doing a project on wine and spirit in Nigeria. That's how I got in touch with the industry from the strategic consulting side. And then it was interesting, it was exciting. I have already been in Lagos, so I just thought, yeah, why not move to Lagos? Working with Moet Hennessy, I would say, is a permanent tension. Okay, we have that huge heritage, which really helps us leverage the history, the domain, the quality our brands have, so that's good. But at the same time, we look forward. So you always have to reinvent the tradition and to look to the future, to connect with new consumers, to disrupt new modes of consumption. So that's how it's always a permanent tension between that great past you need to cherish and that we hope opportunistic future you need to bridge with. So that's what I would define as most. And obviously we feel privileged because we work with very desirable brands everywhere globally. And yeah, it's a huge privilege to be one of those little hands who contribute to that long-lasting story. I joined Moet Hennessy as the Off-Trade Manager Nigeria, which means I'm the retail manager, so that people can understand it. That means I'm in charge of making sure our brands are well represented in supermarkets, liquor store, e-commerce. So that means I need to work with distributors to make sure our brands are there, that they are there at the right price, to make sure that whenever we do a promo or whether we engage consumers, that is done in a very good way, to make sure we always have a hostess that knows about the brand and that can teach you more about the brand. So that was my primary role as Off-Trade Manager Nigeria. Obviously, throughout time, I was privileged to have more opportunity within the group. Then I supervised business support for Benin Republic and Togo. That means I was really in charge of making sure from the importer till the nightclub, till the retail, to make sure we would win there. And currently I'm the market manager also for Cameroon. That means I supervise all our operations there, which includes importation, distribution, PR events, marketing, on-trade, which are nightclub, hotel, restaurant, and off-trade, which include retails. Nigeria is a very challenging country. I mean, I'm sure everyone can tell you that. I would say the primary challenge is about the supply, okay? It's more because we work with distributors and we try to make sure that they are up to the standards, and we are still working to growing them and to make sure we have our product whenever we want it. Sometimes Nigerians want so much our product that we didn't anticipate. Sometimes we have the Naira that doesn't help, or those type of challenges. Beyond those one, I would say natural challenges are making sure our brands are activated in the right way, making sure I grow my team to know all about our past heritage, all about our future, all about our consumers, to make sure I have operations that are scalable. You know, Hennessy and Moet, Belvedere are so big in this country that we have to make sure that we not only activate in VI in Lagos, but in Port Harcourt, in Abuja, in Benin City, in Warri, in Akure. So there's so many cities where we have to be able to deliver the same experiences. Or they look online, Instagram, social media, they want the same experience as Lagos. So that's kind of the burden of being the leader. It's more like we have to scale the operations, and that comes with some challenges. First of all, what helps us is the fact that we arrive early and we believe in Nigeria. Okay, many competitors really became serious about Nigeria much lately. So we had that pioneering advantage. That would be one of our key success factors. The second thing is, since the beginning, we have tried to localize our brand platform. Okay, so we have the Hennessy Artistry platform, for example, that is everywhere. But we didn't try to come with American artists or foreign artists. We really tried to grow the local music scene and to be part of it. And we believe from the beginning in Nigerian artists. That's why throughout the years we have been able to work in with D'banj, with Two Face, with Wizkid, and all of that really helped us get to the stage where we are. But we also have great assets. Okay, Hennessy, for example, is one of the most premium brand in the world. It has a good taste, so it was also an opportunity to make that taste connect with the Nigerian consumers. On the other hand, we have Moet et Chandon, who has been the leading champagne for more than 200 years. So that really helped also, you know, when you have great assets and great brands, you have to localize and to make sure you believe in the market, which we still do. Up until today, we keep investing in Nigeria, we keep growing. We don't take our leadership for granted. We know we have new entrants. We know we have to reinvent our brand. We have to make sure that we meet the Nigerian consumers. So that's how we manage to remain top of the ladder. I think the industry in Nigeria is really on a growing phase, okay? When you think about it, 10 years ago, it was really about beer and probably about soft drinks, let's put it that way. Obviously, wine and spirit were there, but they were not as active as they are today. Over the last 10, 15 years, we can see really a pickup in terms of focus, in terms of activation, in terms of partnership, in terms of leveling up the engagement. So all of that obviously contributed to the industry we see now. So for me, it's still in a growing phase. I think 20 years from now, it will be very different, much more professional. I bet it will be up to the global standard. And that is a very exciting time for us as an industry to be there at the moment. The retail industry is really modernizing very fast. Before, you used to have just open markets where people will go under the street, under the bridge to buy their alcohol industry. But then you had the ShopRite that came, the Spar, and all those malls that came up with all the opportunities to have a modern experience. Also, you have the e-commerce who really skyrocketed recently. So I would say we have more opportunities than challenges. That would be my take. I think that at the moment, they are very much focused about their retail footprint, okay? Opening more stores, making sure they have the right staff, making sure they're able to churn out the goods. And obviously, that's the basic they have to do. But I would think that what they can do better is really to focus on the experience as well. I mean by that, to really focus on promotion that can really level up the game. I mean, engaging consumers, being very innovative in the way people can shop, being very innovative in the way people can interact with the brand, with the product, I don't know, on the shelf, with iPad, with tablets, instead of just focusing on the price, because they are very much focused on discount, discount, discount. Obviously, the consumer wants a product at an affordable price, but I think in Nigeria people are also very aspirational, they like the novelty, and I think they will value as well modernity, you know. So that would be my take on them, to focus more on the experience and not just on the retail footprint or the price. If we define modern retail as comprising supermarkets, liquor stores, convenience stores, and e-commerce, so excluding the open market, I would say that supermarket is the biggest channel. And I expect it to be the case in the near future, because many people, when they go, they want to have a one-stop shop. I go, I buy my groceries, I buy my biscuits, I buy whatever I need to buy. Okay, I can just stop by and buy some drinks along the way. So I think it will remain probably the dominant channel. However, I think that there is an opportunity for the liquor stores to really specialize in terms of expertise, in terms of advising people. You know, Nigerian consumers, they might not know which wines they prefer. They might not know which vodka, what are the differences between vodka or between the champagnes or between a champagne and a sparkling wine. And I think those channels, e-commerce and liquor store, can have a huge value added in terms of educating the consumer and giving them that expertise. And as long as they do that, I think they're going to be thriving, though not becoming necessarily the major distribution channel. That's my take. The off-trade kind of reflect the rest of the country. You know, you don't have like specific dynamics in the off-trade. So the most popular brand within that channel would probably be the most popular brand you have in mind, you know. So I know, for example, in Champagne, we are still the leader. On Cognac, we are still the leader, Hennessy. Champagne, we have Moet et Chandon and Veuve Clicquot on the premium range and Dom Pérignon on the super premium range. So they are still the leaders. There's no clear differences. I think at the moment, because of the Naira devaluation, we are witnessing a huge inflation, okay? Brands are doing their best to subsidize that price increase, but the more the Naira go down, I mean, the more they still have to pass on part of it to the consumers. Obviously, we are aware that the consumers cannot absorb it fully. We also do our best, but we cannot absorb it fully. So that would be the major challenge we have regarding prices. So that's why we try to have added value product where people, when they buy for the same price, they have more added value. That's why we try to stabilize our price increases. But as long as the Naira keeps devaluing, it's very difficult for imported brands to guarantee a stable price. Obviously, when Nigeria is going to get much better, we have heard that apparently we are getting out of recession, the Naira would stabilize and the price would stabilize as well. If the economy is out of recession, we mean growth. I mean, at Moet Hennessy, we witnessed growth already this year, strong growth. So I expect my competitors and my partners to expect growth as well, to witness growth already. I mean, we compare this year compared to last. And the more the country is out of recession, the higher the growth for the GDP, the higher the disposable income, the higher the employment, and the higher employment income. So I think that for us it will mean just stronger growth and probably more premiumization. Maybe more super premium product or luxury product will sell more than they would do currently. At Moet Hennessy, we believe that you build desirable brands over the long term by adding value, by building new experiences, by building new display, by educating the consumer. So we have never had the focus of doing discounts or doing price reduction, because we believe that that can attract you a consumer for a while, but not sustainably. So our plan regarding that is just to make sure that we have new experiences, but yet still affordable. So during the current, let's say, recession-ish or out of recession period, we focus really on affordable, innovative experiences. So we reinforce on consumer engagement and we try to make sure that people see the value in it. At the moment, you know, the Naira went down, our prices went up, so the need to finance the stock and the credit is up. If you used to sell, I don't know, 100 million of goods, the same 100 million of goods today is 120 million of goods. That means you have to tie your capital for 120 millions. So that's the big challenge they have. They have issues financing the stock, financing the credit to consumers, and obviously that has ripple effect throughout the value chain. So I think that's the number one challenge. Then beyond that, I think the challenge they have as well is the internal turnover, because they have staff moving up, in and out. And obviously, when you sell very premium brand like ours, you need to have knowledgeable staff. You need to invest in them to have brand knowledge, brand education, differences between categories. And when you have a turnover, you cannot deliver that high expertise. That's the second challenge I think they face. And then naturally, the third challenge is intense competition, because out there between themselves, they are really fighting hard. So I would say those are the challenges they face at the moment. At the moment, we know that our distribution is not enough because our brand awareness is very high. Many people in Nigeria know about Hennessy, about Moet, and definitely that means we need to reach them. Okay? At the moment, we have many issues because we work with independent distributors to make sure that we cover them. Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, Ibadan, Owerri is good, but we have second-tier cities where we really need to push to make sure it's available, to make sure whenever we have a limited edition, it's available as well. So that's kind of the frontier for us. So we have to do it. That's the burden of being the leader, you know. You have to push the boundaries of the industry and the market as we know it. Yes, what we are looking is more partnership with distributors, distributors with bigger footprint. We are also looking at supporting them to expand their reach. We are also looking at scale our training program so that we ensure that we are everywhere people want to drink our brands. And it's not that easy. We do our best, and I'm sure in 10 years we will still be saying that, pushing to the next year. We have good relationship. I'm sure it helps to have strong brands, whether they are key retailers, key distributors, or key e-commerce player. We have a good relationship with them. We try to work with them to make sure that they still have interesting product to push to their consumers. We have a couple of initiatives to train the staff, to help them grow. We also are pushing the boundaries in terms of display. For example, we pioneer like off-trade corners 4 years ago, where you can go in retail, supermarkets and have really like display. Now we are bringing a new version of them. So we have a really luxury visibility. So those are the type of things we can do because of a good relationship with them. Obviously, they need more support from us. They need faster, higher responsibility from us. And obviously from them, we need also more expertise and more continuity in the processes we have. So it's a working relationship. Obviously, it's getting strengthened and strengthened, and we hope it's going to be the case until the future. E-commerce in Nigeria has a specific role. When we think of e-commerce in other countries, it's just people ordering drinks to get back home. But because in Nigeria we don't have a good distribution system yet, e-commerce also has become part of the distribution network. Okay? If I have a small club or a small restaurant, instead of going to the open market to source it, then I will just order it online. So that's why e-commerce now is also both on the distribution side and on the consumer side. So if you take it as a whole, it has become big. But if you take as the e-commerce as consumer side, as it would have been understood in other countries, it's still small. I think that Africa is definitely the biggest opportunity for the future. When you look at the demographics, it's 1 billion strong people continent today, going to 2 billion by 2050. It's still very young. So that means in terms of active working age population is going to be even more massive. So as a result, brands are looking at that as an opportunity. I think it started with discounts. Today is still the main way brands are promoting themselves. But what we see increasingly is really brands trying to bring also new experiences. As I said, the MAGNA is becoming more and more of the culture. And also what is more interesting, brands are trying to differentiate themselves. So we can see some brands playing on specific platforms and not just trying to be the copycat of the major platforms. So that's a good move, and I think it will make the industry more interesting. After a stressful day, you just have your cognac. I prefer Hennessy VSOP. You have it on the ice, it just let off steam, it goes. For me, champagne is more like whenever you want to indulge, really. But cognac, you can indulge sometimes, but you can also definitely let it go. Since I also cover French-speaking Africa markets, there's also some specificities to the Nigerian market because obviously it's English-speaking. So, for example, they have different perception about the categories that French-speaking countries would have. And sometimes it's also challenging to see the difference when you move from one country to another in terms of culture, in terms of relation to brand, and in terms of size. Nigeria is very big as a market, so big population, lots of disposable income, millionaires, billionaires, so obviously it's a bigger market. So that's kind of an angle that I just wanted to add, but apart from that, it's very good.